Running a brokerage is hard work, so whether you're focused on building your own sales pipeline, hiring the best agents, leveling up your team's production, or protecting the culture you've built, you're in the right place. Real estate brings the challenges, and we share the solution. Welcome to the show dedicated to broker entrepreneurs. Welcome to the Brokerpreneur Podcast. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Brokerpreneur Podcast. I'm Dr. Ben Spears, the Doctor of Flow. I'm here as usual with the big guy. Yet he's on a different square. We look like Hollywood squares. If you're watching on YouTube, Matt Vi, how's it going, Matt?
I'm doing fantastic. I was going to say, what if they're not watching? What if they're not watching on YouTube? And what's Hollywood squares, man?
Yeah,
and
Matt
how do you
Vi
know
for the
about
block. Matt Vi for the block.
Yep, I love it. Doing fantastic. Doing fantastic. Super great guest. We wanted him to come on for a while, and we were actually able to get it arranged. He's a longtime listener, and he does a bunch of stuff super brilliant in his business, and we want to make sure that that he's sharing that with our peeps. So I'm excited to get to that.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and bring him on. We have Duane Murphy, the owner of Expert Realty Partners. Duane, how you doing?
Doing well. Hello to both of you.
Absolutely. We're down here in Florida. Where are you?
Up here in central Wisconsin. So northeast Wisconsin, Appleton to be exact. And since no one knows where that is, just south of Green Bay. Go Pack, go.
There you go.
Exactly. Well, guys, before I ask him the first question that everybody knows is coming, make sure wherever you're watching this or listening, hit that follow and subscribe button. Remember that every Friday we have Brokerpreneur Not So Secret Society. So go down into the description below and click that link and register. We'd love to see you there Friday. It's free for everybody to attend, as long as you're a real estate broker or just somebody who's nice. Other than that, Duane, I have to imagine, that you were like 3 years old. You were opening up some Garbage Pail Kid cards, and you came across one that said like Billy Broker, and you're like, I don't know, that's what I want to do one of these days. And then you decided at that point you're going to start a brokerage and own a bunch of different real estate companies. So tell me if I'm close on that, and if not, correct me on how you got to where you are.
Well, I think you're dating all of us by the fact that all three of us knew what a Garbage Pail Kid was. So I have no idea what a Garbage Pail Kid is. But no, I had no intentions of getting into real estate and being a real estate broker and being on the path that I'm on. All of a sudden, like probably most, all of a sudden, here it is.
Yeah, and you were a firefighter, right? Weren't you a firefighter at one point?
Yeah, I actually just recently retired. So I've been doing real estate for the last 17 years. And for 15 years of that, I also was a volunteer firefighter, full-time volunteer. And so got to run into burning houses when other people are running the other direction, and serve my community that way. And just recently retired. So
yeah, well, congratulations. That's killer. Now you put out fires in a different way.
that is very true. The firefighting and putting out real house fires some days seems a little bit easier.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
you actually have more help. Let's put it that way, right? I have I had a lot of good brothers and sisters around me that could help with that, and it was easier because of the team you had around you.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah, no doubt. So, all you know as well as I do, right? Because you've listened to the podcast for a bit. Our listeners, they're mostly real estate broker owners. Some of them may be, managing recruiters or just recruiters. Let's give them just a little bit. Give me a little 30-second, background of, tell us about your brokerage, right? A little bit about that.
Yeah, I would love to. So I got into real estate about 17 years ago. I opened up our brokerage, Expert Realty Partners. We're an independent brokerage, not under any type of franchise at all. Self-owned by yours truly. We've been a brokerage now for about 9 years, and I'm the broker owner of that. Currently, we're at around 65 agents. We have 17 staff of various types, and we also have some side auxiliary businesses of mortgage, title, and a property renovation company. So we try to stay busy.
Gotcha.
You do wear a lot of hats, and you do put out a lot of fires.
Yeah, it's almost a curse some days, I think, but in a lot of other ways, it's truly a blessing.
Yeah, killer. So tell us a little bit about your growth, right? So on day one, did you just all of a sudden have 60 agents, or kind of what did you do, and then how did some of those people come on board, and what did you win with, and everything? Tell us a little bit about that growth.
Yeah, I think with a lot of people that get on the path or land where I am, right? I started like everyone else, I think, way back when. I got my real estate license, then I caused the entire real estate market to crash worldwide, called the Great Recession and a housing reset. So that was immediately after I got my license. And looking back on that, that was a blessing in itself. I ate a lot of hot dogs and mac and cheese for a lot of years. But I didn't sit by the coffee machine going, oh my gosh, I miss the old days, or I used to be so busy that I couldn't even answer my phone. I would turn away business, and I would hear these stories all the time. And I was like, well, I don't even know what that's like. Right. So the only market I know is this one. And I learned how to do well in that market. And I was doing fairly decent, but it felt like I was always scratching and clawing and fighting. So I decided to create a team. So I found a few other agents that were like, yeah, let's do a team. And I was the team lead on that, because I realized that the only way I was going to scale was to grow. And then shortly after that, 8 years later, I decided that the route to take to be able to impact more people, and to be able to do more of what we wanted, was to start an independent brokerage. So I started a bootstrapped, don't know what I'm doing, like, let's figure this out as we go. I don't even know where we're going to have an office space. But I went to a real estate mastermind out of state, and I got to listen to Darren Hardy with the Compound Effect, and then Hal Elrod was there with Miracle Morning as well.
Wow.
An old NAEA event from way back in the day. And throughout that entire event, I only heard one word, and I wrote it down, and I still have the notes from that day. And it was the word clarity. And it was that if you don't know where it is that you want to go, and if you don't know what it is that you want to accomplish, the universe, and you can call the universe whatever you want, right? A higher power, the stuff around you, the energy around you, it can't help you get there if you yourself don't have enough clarity to get there.
Completely agree.
And so I jumped on a plane. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got this message. It was great speakers. It was a great event. I flew back to, trying to fly back to Appleton. It was like airfare like today, right? I got stuck in Atlanta airport, out of a scene from the movie Terminal with Tom Hanks. All under construction, plastic everywhere, no one else. I double checked twice. I'm like, is this really where I'm flying out of? And they're like, yes, there's no one there. You're not flying for 9 hours. Sooner or later, people will be down there. Well, normally I would go to a bar, go grab a burger, grab some beer, and wait out my 9 hours. I actually went back to that terminal, sat down on the floor, picked up my computer, yellow loose leaf piece of notebook, and sat down and launched my entire brokerage.
Love it.
In that 9 hours. And then flew back and met with my team and said, we were like 3 or 4 strong at that time, and said, hey, I'm going to launch a brokerage. I don't know how, I don't know where, I don't know any of the details, but if you want to come with, great. I'd love to have you. But if you don't, I totally get that. You have to feed your families and stay here. And I was part of me was probably hoping they almost said no.
Right.
Like, how am I gonna continue to feed them and help them and support their families? And they said yes. So I started my brokerage with 3 people, and that were my team. My original idea was to start a team ridge and just have a team brokerage that would be just members on my team, and that would be it. And then very shortly, it was a matter of just a few months later, all of a sudden we had agents knocking on the door saying, hey, can I join your brokerage? And I'm like, what broker? Oh, I'm like, oh yeah, that's us.
I love it.
And then we've grown organically for the most part, very aggressively since then.
Yeah, so you're super service minded, right? And so because we've had the chance to talk, and I love that you're so service minded. But I gotta dig into something, because you and I kind of touch on this, and we talked for a minute before we hit record. This is, in my opinion, it's an important part of your growth, right? So you mentioned that you had a lot of staff. Now, some of that staff is virtual staff, right? So, and you've done a really good job of segmenting how those people work for you and how they kind of help out. Because if I'm, when I heard you say this just a minute ago, you've got 17 staff and 65 agents. Man, that's supporting the hell out of your agents, right? And so I love that you have that much staff that's actually helping the way that they are. How did you end up there? How did you decide that you wanted staff that way? Because you've got some that are, under your roof, and then a lot of them that are not, right? How did you end up with that decision? And then how did you figure out which ones to hire first and all that kind of stuff? Can you tell us a little bit about that evolution and that growth?
Yeah, I think I did what most did. Right. You hire some family members. You hire some people, you run an ad, and then all of a sudden you have some admins, and then you turn and burn them for a little while until you figure out what it is you want to do and how. And for me, I always came from that standpoint of service. Like I created the brokerage, and we created this, our family as we have it, to try to serve them, and so that they didn't suffer and they didn't have to struggle like I did. Like that first 4 or 5 years in real estate was, I'm working jobs at midnight at a gas station. I'm delivering clothes 2.5 hours away at 3:30 in the morning, so I could get to the office in the morning to attend meetings, and still, right, going massively in debt, and charge cards maxed out, and just the worst position possible. But it was one of those where I wasn't going to give up. Everybody around me already said I wasn't going to make it in real estate, and I was going to do everything possible to prove them wrong. So part of our brokerage, part of our company is with that mindset of how can we try to help the agents so that they're not in that same position that I was in for so many years in this industry. Because, right, you start and it's like, congratulations, here's your desk, here's a phone, go find some clients, and sell a few homes to your friends and family members, and then you're going to get out of business. You're a number next, and that's why there's such a massive turnover in this industry. But we wanted to be able to help them with their paperwork. We wanted to be able to help them with their clients. We want to help them with their communication. All that little stuff is super important.
Absolutely.
But the majority of it doesn't make them any money. Right. So if they're not in front of clients, if they're not prospecting, if they're not, right, hugging babies and making friends and connections, they're not making money. So we always came from the mindset, the more of those things that I can either automate and or provide staff for, we can go ahead and help them to do more business. And the other thing we always say, it's two things that we're trying to accomplish with the amount of staff we have. So you can go sell a few more homes and make a little bit more money, right? The second part is go spend time more with your friends and family, because guess what? Life is really short. It's finite. Like all of our clocks are ticking. We just don't know when the battery's going to run out, right?
Right.
So it's like, if we can help you spend more time with your friends and family, we can help you make some more money along the way, then hey, it's a win-win for all of us. So we started with a general admin, and we started with a listing coordinator, and we started with a marketing person. And then what we started doing was scaling from there, of going, okay, now we need 2 of those. Now we need 3 of those, right? Now I have a staff of 5 transaction coordinators that literally only do offers. I have a team of 2, almost 3 right now, that do nothing but listings, right? I have a team of 2 that support our ISAs. I have a team that we try to break them all down so that we can just scale. And we feel like when we get to that point where we need to add more because we've added more agents, or we added more transactions, or we're growing, we just go ahead and we scale our staff internally to match that.
Hey, Dr. Ben here. I hope you're enjoying this episode. If sometimes you feel overloaded or alone when it comes to building your brokerage, I want you to know that we are here for you. There's so much support available to agents, but hardly any dedicated to brokers. I want to personally invite you to schedule a complimentary strategy call where Matt will help you build a 3-step profitability plan that will immediately produce results. This is not a sales pitch. There's no obligation. Simply click the link in the description below. Now let's get back to the show.
So good. You know, so I got and Ben, I know you got questions, and I keep jumping in, and because Ben starts to talk, if y'all
like learning.
He starts to open his mouth, and I jump in. Right. So, I think a cool point on this is, Duane, honestly, you know, there's a lot of brokers that know that on their personal business they need a transaction coordinator and they need a listing coordinator and everything. That isn't how you approach this. You said, this is what an agent needs. So me as a company, I'm going to provide this. That's a big deal. That's huge that you're saying this isn't just about me and my team. This is about us collectively being able to have that, you know, there's no such thing as work-life balance, right? It's just life. We talk about that. So you're talking about them having that, you being able to earn more money, and you're talking about them being able to have that balance because the company that they're with is offering that. I think that's fantastic. I think that's excellent that you figured out a way of doing that, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it's the right way or the wrong way. It was it seemed like the right way to me. Mm-hmm. And that's the reason why we do it, and we continue to do it.
So awesome.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, I love how you said, you know, I'm not sure if it's the right way or the wrong way. And Matt and I know Duane very well, but it's your way, and that's what that's what we try and tell every broker that we work with. There is no right way or wrong way.
No,
there's only your way, because you know, ultimately, if it's the right way for somebody, it doesn't mean it's the right way for you if you're listening. And so another thing that I want to touch on, Duane, and I think most people can hear this if they're truly listening to the podcast. You know, you're not like diving in and you're saying, well, you know, I make this much per agent and I'm doing, you know, everything from a dollar standpoint. You're really looking at it as agent first, right? You're so focused on making sure that everyone within your brokerage is taken care of. And, you know, I know your retention is amazing, and it has to be a result of it. Mm-hmm. A lot of our listeners, I feel like they feel the exact same way, but maybe in their mind, they've been told, well, you got to look at that. You got to look at it a certain way to grow, right? You have to look at it this way, right? It's A, B, C, and D. And I want you to kind of touch on, because, you know, you're a big mindset guy. Touch on the mindset of someone who's maybe just starting on their brokerage, and we'll get to experienced brokers here in a second. Just starting their brokerage and saying, you know what, like, I want to have that same mindset. Talk to us a little bit about what you would tell a broker starting out that maybe wants to get those first 10 agents.
Yeah, I actually had a little bit of thought on this the other day, and I think it's probably because I just saw the movie. And it was Field of Dreams. Mm-hmm. And right, they have one of the famous lines on there, and they're like, you know, Ray, if you build it, they will come. Mm-hmm. Right. And I had a little bit of that as well, that if you build it, right, I think they will come, even though I had clarity of what it is that I wanted to build and where I kind of wanted to go, but I really didn't have the clarity on the scale or the amount of people that I felt like I could impact. Because honestly, unlike most, I didn't open up my own brokerage to make more money because my broker was taking all the money. Now, they might have been. That probably was a little bit of the truth.
Right.
But when I sat down and broke out all the money, I'm like, hey, I'm not really going to be making any more.
Right.
But I also don't have to ask for permission to jump through hoops and
right.
to better service our clientele, right? Both of our clients, our agents and our clients, right? So I have two clients to serve.
Absolutely.
But it's right. If Ray, if you build it, they'll come. Well, all those people didn't come to that cornfield in the middle of Iowa because he built the ball diamond. It was the reason why he built the ball diamond that the people came.
Yeah.
Right. It was so they could connect with their childhood memories, so they could relive, past experiences, so they could just have that. It honestly is the same way in business. Right. I could build this great brokerage. I can build this great machine, right? And just because I built it, would some come? Yeah, some would. But I think you ultimately have to build it for the right reason. And if
Right.
you build it with the right reason, the right intent, and the right part of your heart and soul on that, wow, right? You're gonna attract, and you're gonna attract, and you're gonna retrain. And I think that's a really long answer for a really easy question that you had. But if you're new and you're trying to attract agents, you have to get really clear, and you have to have clarity, pure clarity on who are you, what do you stand for, what do you want to be known for, right? What level are you gonna hold to? And then don't be afraid to put that out there. And if you yourself believe it and you know it, and this is what we're gonna do, they're gonna come, right? And then the ones that you get, my biggest and best recruitment source that I have is my agents, my family.
Right.
They recruit like crazy, right? And it's not because they're getting some huge incentive or bonuses or whatever it may be. Now they get some of that, but most of them are purely recruiting and talking to other agents from their heart, because they're like, hey, we can help you. They know that how we are built, we're kind of the arc. We can help you get through this market. We can help you not only survive it, but we can help you thrive in it. And they truly believe that. And so if you can get a few raving fans that just truly believe in what you're doing and how you're doing it, the word spreads, and then away you go.
Yeah, so that's fantastic, and so Ben said just a second ago, let's talk about the the new broker, but we'll talk about the experienced broker in just a minute. You just hit on both of them, which I absolutely love. If I'm an experienced broker and I've got a brokerage and I'm really trying to grow and everything, what you just said makes so much sense. Let's go back to the to the Chinese fable, or whatever you want to call it. The farmer that went to the emperor and said, I'll do this for you, but just give me 1 grain of rice, and every day double the grain of rice for the next 45 days. And he ended up with all the rice in China, or however it goes, right? So the thing with having a great culture in your office, you've got 65 agents right now. If all of your agents just help you recruit 1 agent per year, it's 130 agents next year. The year after that, it's 260. The year after that, it's right. So it just keeps compounding.
The compound effect, right?
Absolutely. And so you're exactly what you're saying is exactly right. Take care of what you have, and it's going to allow those other things to automatically happen. Now, you got to be able to have a conversation with your people, and it's not about money. We've talked about this a bunch of times before. The money matters. The more experienced the agent, the less the money matters. Mm-hmm. There is financial compensation and there's emotional compensation. The experienced agent wants the emotional compensation just as much as the financial, because they already know how to make the money. This is about their reputation. So if you're doing a great job taking care of them the way that you do, and you know how to have that conversation with them like you do, all of them bringing 1 person to you that you can hire over the course of the year, man, that's your growth built in. Talk about talent attraction. Talk about going to the next level, right? And so that's killer. And I love it that you're growing organically like that. That's so super smart. Ben, I know we want to be real cautious of time here, right? So
yeah, for sure, I do. But I also have another question.
Yep,
and again, I'm the advocate for the listeners always. And so I want to, it's one thing to say, yeah, you touched on that, and you're getting those agents to bring you a referral or a recruit, once a year, let's say. Give us other than your secret headlock that you put them in, right? Give me 1 tip. And then I'll ask you how to connect. Give me 1 tip. If I'm a broker listening, how can I go to my agents and say, man, I would really appreciate it if you bring me 1 referral of a recruit each year.
Actually, you have to have your agents believe in abundance instead of scarcity. you have to almost put yourself in their shoes. All of us started as agents, right? And if you're ever on a team or you're agents, or if you had brothers and sisters, and there's only so much food on the table, right? That wasn't a mindset of abundance typically, especially if you came from humble upbringings, right? That was a mindset of scarcity. You better eat that stuff as fast as you can, or your other three brothers are going to clean the plate, and you're going to go hungry.
Right.
Agents somewhat think the same way. So you're bringing in more agents, you're going to bring in another agent, now there's going to be less leads. You're going to bring in more agents, now I'm going to have less time with you. You're going to bring in more agents, now there's going to be less opportunities. I think that is the biggest hitch, roadblock, wall that brokers don't realize stands in the way of their agents going out and telling them about how amazing we are. And it's because it's a scarcity mindset. If I go out and find someone else, because I'm not going to tell it to someone I don't like, I'm going to tell it to someone else who's possibly successful or probably in our ecosystem would kill it, would do amazing, right? But if I bring them in, now there's less there's less on the plate for me to eat. You have to get them past that point. I had some of these conversations early on with some of my early agents that are still with me. They said, I like how we used to be. I like it when we were small. I like it when there's only a few of us. I like it when we had our meetings in our conference room and we didn't fill the table. And now we're in a meeting room that fits 100. Right. And that was their mindset. And it was a heart-to-heart conversation with them of why and what was that fear. And it was fear that was mostly driving that. It wasn't because they didn't want to see more people successful. And part of that scarcity to abundance mindset shift was I truly asked them from this point, is it really fair for us to have the success we're having and to be doing what we're doing and not share it with others?
Yeah. Should
we not share that opportunity with others and just think of the other people we could help and impact, just like we have with you and like we're doing with other people in our family? And that was the ones that truly have that servant's heart is like, you know what? We need to go find some more people because yes, we are amazing and awesome. And I promised them, I said, no matter how big we get, we will still have that opportunity. We will still scale our staff. We'll still do everything we can to support you, just like we did when we were 3 agents or when we become 300 agents. And hopefully to this point, we've exceeded that.
Yeah, there'll be more opportunities.
It does, right? It's some size does bring opportunity.
Absolutely.
You have 2 options in this business. Right? You can stay a SEAL team, be light, nimble, right? And just boom, pop in, pop out, pop in, pop out, and just be lethal, right? Or you almost need to be a battalion.
An infantry, right?
Run people over. You can just go in and do stuff that you just otherwise can't do. In the middle ground, platoon size, a battalion will run you over, and a SEAL team will
take you apart.
Right. So that's always kind of how I looked at it, and fortunately, they believe in that. They believe in us.
Yeah, that's so killer. And what you're offering, to go back to the yellow piece of paper when you're sitting in the Atlanta airport, man, you're just offering clarity. You know, when they said, "Hey, I'm worried about this," you were just able to sit down with them and just say, "Oh, this is how we want to do this. We want to be able to offer the same thing. We want to be able to grow." You were able to share that vision with them, and you were able to offer clarity. And that's why they're, you know, they're with you. And the ones that aren't, sometimes you got to leave some of those by the wayside, right? If they're not part of the right, you're never going to you can't make everybody happy, right?
No.
And so you got to have your vision and bring along the people that want to come along and share in it. So that's incredible, and great advice, Duane. Spot on.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. So Duane, there's going to be a lot of people who are listening who want to reach out, connect with you, or just learn more about you and your brokerage. Tell us a few different ways that they can do that, or one way is fine as well. And I'll make sure that gets in the description below.
Yeah, you can find me on most of the social. So you can find me on Facebook. You can look me up on LinkedIn. You can also find me on Instagram. And if you need to, can I give my cell number? They want to just reach out and call. All right. All right. So they can just reach out to me, shoot me a text or give me a call. 920-810-7234. 920-810-7234. And I'd love to help anybody that has any questions.
Absolutely. We appreciate that so much. And I know that you mean that. Well, I'll leave you guys with, one thing that I picked up from this entire podcast, which is, Duane said, we were all real estate agents, and, before we came up as brokers, now I never became a broker, obviously, but Matt was born one. And so he's the only one. He was like out of the womb. He was a real estate broker.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, it's just the way it is, man.
The rest of us are learning the hard way.
So I got a funny story here, and I'll make it super short. Do you know what my first word was? My first word ever?
Can we say it on the podcast?
Yeah. Yes, yes, absolutely you can. You're not gonna, it'll make so much sense. but later. My first word was Buddha.
Really?
There was a small statue of Buddha, and I used to sit in front of that thing and stare at him. And my first word was Buddha for a month before I said anything else. I would walk by it and say Buddha. I'd point to it and say Buddha. I'd sit in front of it and say Buddha. And so anything that I think that I've learned, I believe at this point it had to have come from a higher power. That was my first word.
Yeah, I would have guessed Sasquatch for sure.
Yeah, or one with a lot less letters, like let's say.
I'm not going to say that.
My farm background probably is more of that last one.
Yes, that's right. I hear you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Duane, for coming on.
Thank you, Duane.
A little bow on it. Absolutely. Guys, wherever you're listening to this, whether it be iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Deezer, any of those platforms, make sure you hit that follow button. If you're watching this on YouTube, what's up? Make sure you hit that red subscribe button, that bell right beside of it, get notified every time we drop a new episode. Please go down below in the description and connect with Duane, of course. And then after you do that, click on that button and register for Brokerpreneur Not So Secret Society this Friday, or if you're listening to it on a Friday, next Friday, from 12 to 1 Eastern Standard Time. We would absolutely love to see you there. It's absolutely free to attend. Matt, we bring on amazing guests, just like Duane, for one reason and one reason alone. Tell them why that is.
We just want to be part of your win.